Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a special episode to share with you today. And this video interview has been taken exclusively from my mold recovery course because I wanted to give you a little bit of a snippet, a little insight into the amazing content that is mold recovery. And my guest today is Mark Givert, and he's talking all about the benefits of infrared light and heat and sauna because his company Fitt specializes in that. And his sauna mat is one of the top things that I have invested in and purchased for my health that has given me some of the greatest results. So I just love his company, and I wanted to get him on the mold recovery course to share a little bit more because it was such a healing tool for me and really helped me to recover from toxic mold exposure. And I wanted to share it on the podcast to just get the word out there and just not keep this just for those in the course. I wanted to have you learn about the benefits, and whether you're dealing with mold or not, infrared light and heat and this technology can benefit you because it's what we're designed to be exposed to. You'll learn a little bit more about the science in the episode, don't worry, but I am such a huge fan now and will be using these techniques for the rest of my life. And I honestly owe my recovery to this as like a huge tool. Along with other things, I did have to move out of the mold and use binders and use things like coffee enemas. They also made a big difference. But my infrared sauna is a top product that I still use, not as much anymore, maybe 2-3 times a week. I try to get on there for about 45 minutes. And it's a little bit different than other saunas on the market or the sauna at your gym. So it's important to understand that and just know that you're not going to get as hot and sweaty as you might do in a wet like steam room or wet sauna, or like the dry heat saunas. They're all a little bit different, but yeah, you'll learn that in today's episode. So my guest, Mark Givert, he shares a little bit about his story at the start, but I'll just give you a brief overview now. So he started his career as a chartered surveyor in the corporate world of commercial property investment and development. And in his mid-20s, he was young, successful, but unfulfilled. So he went on a journey to explore meditation and techniques practicing mindfulness, and this led to him launching into the world of meditation mindfulness. He kind of left the corporate world because it was just not fulfilling him, and he was getting all of this success, but internally he just didn't feel like it was the right fit. So 10 years later, in 1991, he founded the London School of Mind, Body and Spirit, which focused on teaching meditation and running international meditation courses and retreats. And then in his early 30s, he made the unexpected decision to travel the world to study and practice meditation. And he lived for many years alongside an old 90-year-old Master Yogi. And he studied ancient texts and received many teachings on how to live. But as a result of his extensive travels, his health declined rapidly and was terrible. He was left with lots of fatigue, fibromyalgia, gut and liver damage, not to mention parasitic and a whole host of other infections that ravaged his body. I can relate. It took him about 6 years of research, a lot of trial and error to discover how to get well. And finally, with a program of detox and his learnings about infrared and sauna techniques and therapies, he was able to recover. And he launched his company, Fitt, in 2004. So after many years of being chronically ill and now being healthy, he and his team are now well placed to be able to help more people access this information, restore their health, or maintain good health. So in this episode, we discuss the different spectrums of light. What's the difference between near and far infrared? You might have heard those terms before. Benefits of sun exposure in general, because we get some of those infrared spectrums through the sun, but it's not as strong as you do get from like a sauna mat or one of his other products. He does have a range of different products in his product suite. So I personally have the Soma mat, which is just it's not like a cocoon or anything. It doesn't wrap around you. You just lay on it. So I prefer that. I don't want to feel claustrophobic or get too sweaty. I find that that mat works really well for me. We discussed how saunas improve our health, the difference between the wet, the dry, the infrared saunas, and he gives a few case studies as well about clients who have, I think we discussed fatigue, chronic pain, inflammation, and how these people have been able to recover their health using sauna as one of the the tools, and tons of other things as well. So I can't wait to share this episode with you. You can use the code Vivien10, so that's VIVIEN 10 for 10% off his products. And they're available worldwide, which is also amazing. And they also have a higher service. So if you're not sure how you'll react, because you do have to start slowly. But I find that if you do that and you take the proper precautions and everything, even the most sensitive people can at least do a few minutes on there. I discuss my experience and how I went a little bit too hard to begin with, because I didn't think that I was noticing a difference, but trust me, it was working. You'll hear about that in the episode. But yeah, they'll do a higher service. So if you don't like it after a few weeks, you can send it back, no questions asked at all. You're not having to keep the product or pay for it in full or anything like that. So we'll get into the episode. I am sure that you're going to love it. And Mark is just such a wealth of knowledge. And I've connected with him a few times now. And I just love him and his company and what he's doing in the world. And yeah, enjoy. Hi, everyone. Today I'm joined by Mark Givert, who is going to share with us the benefits of infrared sauna, a tool that has massively helped with my own personal recovery from fatigue and pain, mold illness, just in general. So welcome, Mark.
Hi, thanks very much, Vivien. Good to see you.
You're welcome. And could you introduce yourself and just give us a bit of a background into your health journey, as I know that that's part of the reason you decided to launch your company, Get Fit, in 2004, I think?
Sure, absolutely. So thank you for the question and the opportunity to share a little bit of my journey. Now, I was traveling extensively and spent a lot of time in the Himalayas, in the Amazon, and I was traveling, on and off for, close to 6 or 7 years. And my traveling took a massive toll on my health. I had lots of viral infections, parasitic infections. I had a very badly damaged gut. So there was lots of leaky gut and gut permeability going on. I had IBS, couldn't tolerate any food at all. Didn't matter what I ate. It wasn't even sensitivities or allergies. Any food that I took would cause me problems. Rather any food that I ate would really cause me problems, and I'd be running to the toilet a few minutes later. So food, I was about 2 stone underweight. As I said, I wasn't digesting or absorbing anything at all, really. I had numbness and neuropathy really pretty much from the waist down. And I also had systemic fungal infections going on, amongst other things. My liver physically was the size of a football. I actually couldn't bend forward. That's how inflamed my liver was. So that really wasn't great. I had constant gut pain, and inevitably, of course, lots of fatigue going on, and kind of pain throughout my body. So that was kind of my daily dose of discomfort going on for over 6 years. And I've managed to kind of maintain myself, should we say, so that things didn't deteriorate any more than they already had. So I wasn't getting any better. And finally, when I actually returned to the UK, I started working with the nutrition, which of course is essential. I was working with the nutrition, and also I discovered early 2000, I was introduced to far infrared. Now, I didn't really know anything about detox or anything like that at the time. What I actually was using the far infrared was actually to help me to repair the damage. I had a lot of damage to my liver, a lot of gut damage. So there was quite a lot of, I was looking for the far infrared to help repair a lot of the damage that had gone on from all of the infections that I had and the journey that I'd been on. And of course, the far infrared did help with the detox, but it also really accelerated my recovery and repair of all the damage that I'd experienced. And long story short, after about 8 months, I was fully recovered. I had no relapses, and actually my health only continued to improve, and again has done it ever since, really. So and 4 months after my recovery, I thought, oh my God, I want to tell the world about this, because I was fully aware of what had gone on and how the fire infrared had helped me. And that's why literally 4 months after my recovery, I decided to launch Get Fit.
And what was wrong with were the other products on the market? Like, why did you decide to like start your own company?
Because actually well, first of all, at that time, far infrared was unknown. No one knew about far infrared. It wasn't on the radar. So first of all, my desire was to disseminate the research and the information about far infrared, because that generally was not available. Certainly, we started, our journey began. We work with many doctors and healthcare professionals and clinics, and pretty much all of our clients come through referral from doctors and healthcare professionals, and that's been the case since early 2000. So the main reason for launching Get Fit was because at that time, far infrared was pretty much unknown, actually. And certainly, interestingly, the reason we also develop our own technology, and the main reason for that is that, as strange as it may seem, the majority of the technology that is currently available is over 20 years old. And albeit it's being promoted as that it's new, the reality is that the technology is really quite old.
The same with like the medical world as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, of course, the public are not aware. They don't know. All that happens is people haven't heard of far infrared, and they assume that it's new and it's new tech, but it isn't new. And there have been such advances in terms of technology that what we are able to do now with the far infrared is way superior to anything that we've ever been able to do before. And hence, that's why we've been able to launch, a lot of our wearable products, our products that can be used during sleep time, which are revolutionary, actually. And we developed a lot of our technology according to the work that we've been doing with our clients. So it's been very much led by the problems and challenges that people are facing. So long story short, I started Get Fit. And the other thing is, what we realized is that there's not a lot of support for people generally who were on this journey. I'm sure, as you know, conventionally, there's very little, that the conventional medicine will do for fatigue and fibromyalgia and Lyme and mold and all these kinds of things. You'll be told normally you have to do cognitive behavioral therapy or pacing or graded exercise, which of course recent studies have now demonstrated that actually none of that is helpful particularly, and actually graded exercise tends to make people worse. So the bottom line is that what we did is we actually guide and support our clients with their, should we say, far infrared treatment program, because unbeknown to most people assume that the body's working and that the body can repair and detoxify. And the reality is actually that the body has been damaged. The systems are not working properly. And my suggestion is that there is a level of repair that has to happen first before the body's even able to repair itself.
Yeah. If it's like running on zero energy, then it's not going to have the ability to repair.
Exactly. And the other thing is also that is a really critical factor is that the body is actually locked into hyperactivity in terms of the nervous system. People are locked into fight or flight mode, where the sympathetic nervous system is overactive. It doesn't calm down. And as long as that's going on, the body will not release or make available resources for repair and recovery.
Yeah.
So another critical thing with the far infrared is that what needs to happen is we need to literally reset and calm the nervous system down regularly so the body can divert resources for repair and recovery. So there are, some essential things that need to happen. And as I said, why we do the support with people is that there's a process of building up the program whereby we're resetting the nervous system and we're restoring and repairing systems so that the body can begin its own natural processes of healing and repairing itself.
Because the body knows what to do. That's like how we've got to where we are today, is by the body healing and being really resilient. But we've got so many things working against us in the modern world. And it's like with the liver, people say you shouldn't need to support your liver in detoxing. It does that naturally. And although it does, we're bombarded by so many man-made chemicals that are just like the body doesn't know how to process them.
you know what, that's very true. And the other thing is, listen, it's perfectly true. You know, if you speak to any doctor or a healthcare professional, they'll say, oh, but the body detoxes naturally. That's correct, but that assumes that the body's working.
Yeah.
And what you and I both know is that what has not been taken into consideration is when the body systems have been disrupted and the body is no longer detoxifying naturally. And that's the missing link for you know, in conventional terms, that it hasn't been understood or recognized that the body is not working properly and has been disrupted for, you know, for the reasons that you've mentioned. So, you know, that's a big gap to bridge, actually. And you know, you and I, with our work, that's what we do. But, you know, the bottom line is that we have to start, the body is the miracle. And the goal really of our program is to restore function and to repair the body so it can go about its business and do its work of repairing and healing itself.
And you're right that the body only heals when it's in a relaxed state,
100%.
in that rest and digest, parasympathetic mode. In my mold course, I talk about the cell danger response, which is what you were saying before, that the nervous system gets hypervigilant and is just thinking that it's under attack all the time, even if you've cleared the infection, even if you've moved out of the moldy house. Sometimes you have to work on that as well. And you can feel it when you're on a sauna mat, the infrared in particular, you just feel really calm and at ease. So it's definitely working.
And that's kind of the point. And I think that's really overlooked as, and I think it's not appreciated that is one of the reasons that people suffer from complex and chronic illness in the long term. The body is not in a position to begin repairing because it's constantly stressed and in fight or flight. That's one of the main reasons the body will not divert resources for repair. The body simply cannot repair until it's out of fight or flight mode, because actually it's in survival mode, protecting you, saving your life on the most fundamental level.
And is it the same reason that while we're in the sun, we feel more calm and relaxed?
Sure.
Is that the infrared spectrum? Like, what's the difference between the infrared from a sauna mat versus the natural sunlight?
A small portion of daylight is far infrared. So, and actually, unfortunately, you know, the reality is, you know, like, why do we supplement with, you know, nutritional supplements? Because unfortunately today, many of the foods are lacking in the nutrients and minerals and vitamins that we need, you know, for a variety of reasons. And similarly, as strange as it may seem, something that is rarely considered, we are the indoor generation. We are indoors 90% of the time. We're not moving, we're not breathing, we're not getting light. We are deprived of light. And you could think of almost the far infrared is actually light therapy. It's light. Be clear, we're putting photons into the body. It is perceived in the public domain as sauna and heat. To clarify, the far infrared has a warming effect and can be used for its sauna effect. But there's no need to use heat. There's no need to sweat to get all the benefits and to detoxify in terms of what the body needs. Okay, so this is light, and think of it as light supplementation to basically to help deal with the light deficiency that we're actually all living with. It is light supplementation in truth. And ironically, you know, we've had to create technology for light supplementation because we're indoors all the time.
So would you say that the traditional saunas, like the wet and dry saunas that you might find at a gym or are used in like different countries, they are good to help with like sweating and detoxing through the skin, whereas the infrared sauna helps that to some degree, but also the light therapy?
You know, that's a really great question. And what I would say to you is, please be clear, there are benefits, yeah, to conventional, you know, wet sauna, dry sauna, but be clear with whether it's a wet or a dry, you're using different forms of heat. You're using hot air, or basically you're using hot steam, yeah, to heat and to raise temperature, and you're using heat. Now, heat, you know, subjecting the body to heat has some physiological benefits, there's no question. But what we're doing is very, very different. We are introducing pure light. We're sending photons into the cells of the body, okay? with regards to detox, bit of a myth. I'm going to kind of do a bit of myth busting here. You know, the myth that you need to sweat to detoxify is absolute nonsense. The reality, skin, yes, if you sweat, you will eliminate some toxins through the skin, but it's only a small percentage. The skin is not the major organ of elimination. One of the main reasons the skin is used is because for many people who are unwell, their liver and kidneys are not working properly. So the only major pathway that is available, or rather the only alternative that is available, is the skin. And even if you do successfully sweat, it's only going to be a small percentage of the toxic load that you will manage to eliminate through the skin. The major organs of elimination are the liver and kidneys, and the way that we work is we restore function of the liver and kidneys by restoring blood supply to those organs so that they can repair, so that they can function. So our preference is to restore healthy function of the liver and kidneys that will do the heavy lifting, and you'll eliminate through the urine and the stool. Those are the heavy lifters. That's where you're going to eliminate the majority of the toxic load. And here's the thing. The majority of people who are unwell, the skin is not functioning properly. They don't sweat because the circulation has been compromised. So I would say to you, 95, 98% of our clients, the skin is not working. So why? And to advocate, oh, go and sweat in a sauna, it can take weeks for our clients to recover. If they go and stress the system in that way, it's not helpful.
Yeah, big mistake that I made early on, because I also heard that sweating was like a major way that we detox. So I would push myself to have these really hot baths or really sweaty workouts, or go to a regular sauna and sit in there, making myself feel really dizzy because I didn't know that I had issues with blood pressure and POTS and mast cell activation. So heat was a major trigger, like heat fluctuations, being too hot, being too cold would literally make me pass out sometimes. But I was just like, oh, I must just have to push through a little bit harder. But then I found that the lower temperatures of the infrared, they're pretty powerful still. So you would have to go really slowly and ease your way in, but they're much better tolerated, especially if you're dealing with some of those symptoms like I was.
Well, that's absolutely right. And as I said, as a result of what we learned very early on in early 2000, we developed low temperature protocols and introduced that to the practitioners and to the doctors, because something else that we did, in terms of our dissemination of, knowledge regarding far infrared, hence we put in place our training for healthcare professionals, practitioners and doctors, because they didn't really understand what it was, and certainly they didn't know how it worked. And ultimately, the main difference is that when you're using light, when you introduce light into the cells, at a lower temperature, when you send photons into the cells of the body, there's a couple of things that go on. You clean the cell. Think of it as flushing the cells with light. So any toxins that are in the cells will be literally flushed out by the light, but also critically, and this is really key, that when you send light into the cells of the body, it triggers repair of the cells and the mitochondria. And heat does not do that. It's a very fundamental and an essential difference. So when we send light into the body, even at very low temperatures, all that is still going to go on. And the other key point that we mentioned earlier, that we touched on, that the nervous system, that the body is in survival mode, it's in fight or flight. The moment, within minutes of taking the far infrared, even at using our low temperature technology, it will reset the nervous system in minutes. And the more frequently and the more often we do that, that is going to rapidly accelerate the repair and the healing of the body system. Could
the saunas be classed as red light therapy then? I know there's some products where it's like the handheld devices. I know a company in the US called Juve that people might have heard of. They have these ones that you sit in front of. But with the mats, obviously you can't see the lights, but they're underneath, aren't they?
I'm really happy you brought that up. We have a lot of our clients who have tried red light therapy. And my comment to you is, one of the reasons we haven't used red light, and actually why we've stuck purely with far infrared, many of our clients come to us with a long list of all kinds of technologies that they've been advised that would help them. And my comment to you is many of these treatments, people talk about red light, near infrared, pulsed electromagnetic frequency treatment. Be clear, all of these things have benefits. But think of them as ingredients in a dish. What we discovered was that far infrared provides all the benefits of many of the other modalities and treatments and much more. So simply put, what we discovered was that there was no need for many of the other modalities. For example, red is very popular and people are going, oh yeah, it's great. And they'll get, as I said, there will be some benefits. But why we are using far infrared is red light is a short wavelength, which is why you have to have no clothes on. You have to take all your clothes off. You have to stand in front of it. Yeah. And you certainly get some treatment. A lot of our clients who have tried red light and tried the far infrared have confirmed that the far infrared is so much more powerful. And there's a scientific reason for that. The far infrared is a much longer wavelength. It's an invisible light. It's not visible. So it doesn't heat the air and it doesn't heat the skin superficially. Literally, the far infrared will go into the cells directly. And here's the thing. It will flow through the cells and through the whole body. It will be transmitted through the energy system of your body. Think of it as electricity flowing through a circuit. Now, that doesn't happen with any of the other frequencies, red light, near infrared, pulsed electromagnetics. And that's why far infrared is so effective. You get access to the cells, to the mitochondria, to the DNA, and there's a transmission of this energy through the whole body. Hence, working locally is not particularly helpful. That's why we found that the easiest, quickest way to work with complex health issues where many of the body systems have been disturbed and disrupted, we found that the easiest way to help the system is to work on the whole system and introduce light into the whole body. And as you know, we can do this just for a few minutes. We have people who have cabins. Many of our clients have cabin saunas. And they come to us and say, oh, I'm going to take a treatment in my cabin. And I said, well, how long do you normally do? And they say, oh, 45 minutes, an hour. And then they say, oh, so let's do I want to do an hour in the cocoon or on the soma. And I said, well, this is very different. And my suggestion is, I'd like you to do maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And they start laughing and say, what are you talking about? And they go away, don't listen to me. And they kind of listen a little bit. So they do maybe a 10-minute treatment or something, and they have a very significant detox. And none of that was going on with the cabin when they were doing it an hour and a half. That's
exactly what happened with me. I did a testimonial for your website as well about my experience, how it helped me recover from mold, because I've done like different things over the past 2 years, and moving from the moldy environment made a huge difference. But right away, I implemented the infrared saunas. I used tools like coffee enemas, castor oil packs, supplements and herbs and everything. But the infrared sauna has been consistent. I'd used it minimum 3 times a week for the past 2 years. But I was that same person who thought that I was pretty strong in my tolerance to things and was advised to start with a few minutes. And the first time I did it and I was fine. So I thought I'd push it a little bit more. And then the second time, I think I went on for about 20 minutes at a medium high heat and ended up like blacking out and passing out and hitting my head on the ground. Just know the fact that you're not sweating or don't feel a huge difference in the moment. It is still working. It's very powerful. But yeah, if you want to learn more about that, then watch the testimonial video, because I go through like the mistakes that I made.
So that that's why we monitor and supervise, help people build up and make sure that we're going at the pace at which the body can cope. But our equipment is very effective. It's very different, and it's so powerful and effective that we don't need to use high temperatures. There's no need for any of that. You can, some people like warmth and heat, and you can do that. But generally, no real need. And maybe we can go to a quick clip and we can show somebody who suffered from fatigue for like 18 years, and we can share that with you.
Yeah, so please do. Yeah, you've got some amazing testimonials.
We have, for sure.
I'm going to put the link below for the whole page, because there's all different conditions and stuff, but we're going to share a few clips today with some specific symptoms that a lot of people tend to deal with. And for my recovery, I'd say the main benefits I've noticed is energy production. Definitely, I feel like I have the energy of someone my age now, not like an 80-year-old woman in my 20s. Recovery from exercise is a big one. I used to just get injured quite a lot, trapped nerves, soreness, just post exercise soreness for days after, and my tolerance was just really low. Weight loss, without any real effort, my fat cells have just kind of shrunk because I think they were storing so many toxins in them. Now that I've detoxed and my detox pathways are working better, it's just like effortless weight loss, clear skin, calmer nervous system. I just used to be so anxious and wired all the time, and no wonder that I wasn't healing. And pain was never my biggest symptom, although I did have some like joint pain, knee pain after eating certain foods. So yeah, I've just seen like amazing improvements personally.
Fantastic. I'll show you this case study of a lady that was unwell for 18 years, and I hope that's inspiring for some of you that may see the podcast. So if you just bear with me a moment.
I'm Jill, and I'm 53 now. I was diagnosed with systemic lupus 18 years ago. The thing that really nobody has ever taken any notice of is that I've always been intensely cold. Even in summer, I could be sat on a beach with 2 sweatshirts and a coat, and I would still be visibly shaking. Going out of an evening has been very, very hard because I couldn't stop the physical shaking from the cold. One of my closest friends became ill herself, and she knew the struggles that I'd had over the years with the fatigue and the pain and the coldness, and she'd heard about Get Fit and said, Jill, you've just got to do this. And so just seeing her improvement, then immediately got involved with it, and I've had immense support since.
How long have you been doing the programme now?
4.5 weeks.
Okay.
Tremendous amount of time.
Okay, so 4.5 weeks later, tell us what's gone on for you.
I'm warm all of the time, and it's utterly unbelievable. People haven't seen me in a t-shirt for 18 years.
Wow.
It's completely changed elements of my life. To realise that I can have good health and hopefully never have any medical intervention again. No more steroids, no immunosuppressants, get my energy back, get fit, just to be pain free. That's what it's giving me. I've only been doing this 4 weeks, and I think what's happened is miraculous. I get little periods where I actually have energy, and I haven't had energy for 18 years, and now suddenly have the freedom and knowledge that I'm going to be fit and well. This actually works.
That's so great. I love that.
So that was really a great experience. And my comment is generally we see good improvements. I generally will emphasize it's not an overnight miracle cure, because it's about repair and restoring function, and each person's journey is very different. Some people get some nice changes and improvements in 4 to 8 weeks, but generally it's a longer term program. And slowly but steadily, as people consistently work with us on the program, they start to see good improvements, over the time. And I think, as we mentioned, it's not just about the equipment. We have a whole support program where we provide telephone support, monitoring support, and guidance. And also we coach our clients so that they get to learn how to do it for themselves, so they don't need us the whole time. We've got a constant education program working with the doctors and healthcare professionals, helping us educate people, and where we're doing a lot of live webinars every month. And we've got a community also to support all of our clients, where a lot of people are on the same journey, can congregate and communicate, and we input into the community, answer questions, and do some lives in the community. Also, we have a special rehabilitation program for clients, because we understand that conventional exercise actually is not helpful, is more harmful than helpful. So we have my colleague runs a special rehabilitation program of seated movement exercise to restore mobility and begin to start strengthening some of the muscles that have weakened in a very, very gentle way. We've been doing that, which again is very, very helpful. And as I said, we run group support webinars as well for people, where we'll guide them and monitor them during their programs, and can ask us any questions ongoing, with regards to any issues that might arise during the program. So there's quite a substantial support infrastructure in place, and we created that because when we began, we realized that was very much lacking, because a lot of the doctors and healthcare professionals are so busy that they just don't have the time or the infrastructure to support clients in that way. And that's kind of what we've been doing now for nearly 20 years. And life, of course, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say lack of support and lack of community and isolation and loneliness is harmful to health as well. So if someone feels like they have someone helping them or other people going through what they are, that's going to aid in their healing too.
100%. So that's why, the community that we have and the regular webinars where we all meet and help people with, whatever problems they're working with. It's so much more than just providing equipment.
That's so good. You actually care.
Well, listen, that's I launched Get Fit because we wanted to help, and over the years, as I said, as we've learned and grown and developed, we've done a lot of training with the doctors and biochemists who develop the tests that confirm that fatigue is real and that there is physiological cell damage, DNA damage, contamination, and systemic disruptions. And this is not information that even now, nearly 20 years later, is only just coming into the public domain.
Even things like post-viral fatigue, doctors wouldn't really think that was a thing up until like the past couple of years with COVID. And now they're like, oh, maybe it is real. Maybe chronic fatigue is something that affects people. And it's not just people being lazy or it's all in the head, it's psychological.
100%. And actually, that's what we've been doing for nearly 20 years, that work. With post-viral damage syndromes and whether it's Lyme and the whole plethora of toxic problems, of course, including mold. And what I would say to you with regards to mold is we've successfully even managed to help reduce and clear the toxic mold load from people's body, even when they're still living in the buildings.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like there's nothing that you can do if you're trapped there for another couple of years, or you had to, like I do, wait until your new place is ready for another 6 months. You can still get started on like enemas sometimes, and saunas and binders just to support your body in the process. Obviously, you wouldn't want to live somewhere unhealthy long term, but it's still like there's still hope that you can get some improvements in the meantime.
100%. And as I said, we think of it as like brushing your teeth. You're going to be eating every day. There's going to be debris and food in your teeth. You don't concern yourself with that because you know that you're going to clean it up. And because you do that by brushing your teeth and flossing and whatever you might do, you don't have any problems. And it's the same. It's possible to continually and regularly clean the cells of the body. And that's a fact of life today, that actually we need to do that because of what we're exposed to regularly on a daily basis. But if you know that you're exposed and you do the work of cleaning up regularly and consistently, you'll maintain and sustain healthy functioning of the body.
So is the goal to ultimately work towards doing it as frequently as possible? I know when someone's really sick, you want to start much, much slower, but is it safe to do every day?
Yeah, listen, what we've discovered is this: the doctors have made it very clear to us that one of the biggest causes of disease is sedentary lifestyle. And what we've seen is that we have people using our main equipment, our professional range. We get very, very good results. The Cocoon or the Soma, those are the kind of go-to therapeutic devices. And what we've seen is that we get very good results with that, but because of the sedentary lifestyle, that's a whole nother level of additional stress contributing to the degeneration of the body, shall we say. And what we discovered was that when we started to supplement, the primary treatment of where clients are using the professional range, we started to get even better results because we started to neutralize and offset the stress from sedentary lifestyle. So that's why what we have done is actually provide a system whereby we can convert sedentary time, all sitting time. We've developed technologies and equipment that can be used when you're sitting, things that, we've got wearable technology, we've got technology that you can use while you're sleeping. And what's revolutionary about that is we have now managed to convert, let's say 8 to 10 hours of sitting time. We've now been able to convert that from degeneration time to regeneration time and detox time and actually nervous system reset time. And we're also able to convert sleep time into that regeneration time. So we've actually now managed it's possible to transition from, 8 to 12 hours or more sedentary time triggering greater illness and disease. We're now taking that chunk of time and using it to regenerate the system.
Yeah, I love how you're adapting it to the modern lifestyle, because I wish everyone could just be outside all day and kind of hunt and gather food and just live a more primal lifestyle, but that's not going to happen. We can do the best that we can. We can go out in the sun on our lunch break. We can get a standing desk so we're not sat down at work all the time. But yeah, we have to do things that are going to be doable in the real world.
Well, absolutely, and that's why, so you're asking me, what do I do? How do I use it? So, normally I will have a treatment using the cocoon. In the mornings, I'll do that pretty much daily. I have the system that I sleep on in my bed, and the sleep tech is really revolutionary because there's two ways you can use it. A lot of clients are cold all the time, so if you want to use that with a heating system, you can. But what's revolutionary about it is, of course, when it's a boiling hot summer, you don't want heat in your bed. And what we've developed is a system that's body heat activated, so that you can use the heating when you want to use the heating. When it's too hot, you don't need to. Your body heat activates the system and triggers the production of far infrared. So most of the year, I'm sleeping on my sleep tech. I don't use the heating most of the time, and I'm getting my far infrared every night. And I've also got some equipment on my sofa. So if I'm reading or watching TV, because let's face it, we're going to relax and calm, chill out and maybe, maybe watch TV or a movie or read or something like that. And I have, one of our wraps that I use when I'm sitting down, and I'm in good shape. I mean, it's not, my opinion is, of course, there's a process of building up to be able to do that.
Yeah. Please don't do that if you're bedbound with chronic fatigue, because you will likely have some detox reactions.
Absolutely. So there's a process of building up to that. But the point is, once you've adapted and the body's starting to work nicely again, you're not going to do too much. Yeah. The lifestyle, in light of the lifestyle that we live, it's so stressful and tends so much to degeneration and disease that I can do all of that. I'm in good shape. It's not too much. That's the point. That's how stressful our lives are, actually.
And how else do you stay healthy with everything that you've learned, the nutrition side of things? Obviously, you're using your infrared lights and sauna. What else do you do in terms of exercise, stress management, just keeping yourself healthy?
That's a great question. Interestingly, the beauty of my journey of restoring my health, everything that I learned in terms of getting myself well, I adopted as my lifestyle that kept me well. That's just what happened, the way I was eating. I mean, and to be clear, nutrition is essential. The far infrared is very, very beneficial as a part of your lifestyle solution, shall we say. But there's no question we want people to exercise. I mean, the far infrared has an exercise effect. It activates the cardiovascular system, it stimulates circulation, it helps restore muscle activation and all these kinds of things. But ultimately, So, to answer your question, I do a good amount of exercise. I walk a lot. I swim. I do go to the gym. Yeah, I do. I lift weights again, which I enjoy. I do all of that. And inevitably, food-wise, it's interesting. I've always kind of had a tendency to fast regularly. So I personally, I do 1 day fasting a week where I just take water. Sometimes it goes on to 2 days, depends how I feel. And as a rule, I take maybe 1 meal a day.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because and simple reason, the lifestyle that I'm living, I'm not so physically active. As I said, I do go to the gym. I'm physically active, but I'm not so active personally for me that I need 3 meals a day. I feel very. I stopped having breakfast years ago, and generally I might have a lunch and a dinner. But I found that what really seems to be really beneficial for me in terms of really massively boosting my energy levels is just taking 1 main meal in the day, later on in the day, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, and I might have a little, a very small something around 5 or 6, and that's it. And I think it's interesting. I think there's been a lot of emphasis on snacking and maintaining blood sugar, and it's been shown time and time again that fasting actually helps improve insulin sensitivity and reduces fasting blood sugar levels. So it's a little bit counterintuitive because you think, oh, my blood sugar is going to drop and I'm going to have all problems. But actually, and the far infrared also, as a case in point, tends to improve insulin sensitivity and helps with diabetes a lot, and also reduces fasting blood sugar levels. So the far infrared really has a regulatory.
Yeah, it'll be the effect that it's having on the mitochondria. Like if the mitochondria are dysfunctional, then your metabolism's going to be off, your hormones, your thyroid, your weight.
And that's a really important point. What we've got some great studies, and what we see is that when you send far infrared into the cells, it will trigger repair of the cells, and more importantly, it will trigger the repair of the mitochondria. And from the mitochondrial tests that we've been seeing over the years, the mitochondria have proven to be damaged and contaminated, and the far infrared basically we've been using to clean up the mitochondria in the cells and to repair them.
And you've got a testimonial, haven't you, on, was it pain? Lady with fibromyalgia?
Yeah. Let me happy to share that with you.
It's like chronic pain, whether it's back pain or just general pain when it comes to fibromyalgia is a huge issue. I've seen it definitely linked to things like mold or just heavy metals in general, environmental toxicity, poor gut health, but the infrared saunas can definitely help just with the way that they work systemically. You can't treat the body in isolation. So if you're doing something to improve the mitochondria, it's going to improve everything, all the other body systems.
And that's absolutely why we focus on full body treatment, because inevitably, listen, as you well know, normally, complex chronic health issues, many of the organs, many of the systems have been disrupted. There's normally toxic load throughout the whole system. And what we've discovered over the years is that the quickest, easiest way, to help restore health is actually to work on the whole body, on the whole system.
Yeah.
And that's what we found. And certainly, I can show you, let me share this little case study with you of a fibromyalgia client of ours. So hi, it's Mark here at Get Fit Limited with Alison. Alison, thanks very much for coming in, and I believe you've just been trying one of our far infrared systems.
I have, thank you very much. I didn't want to get off it.
That's always a good sign. And tell me, Alison, can you tell me what were the problems that you've been having?
Okay, well, I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, but at the minute in particular, the pain is across my shoulders and my neck. And so it was about a 6 on the pain scale, and now it's a 2.
And 10, of course, being the most painful.
Painful, yes.
So a noticeable improvement, would you say?
Definitely, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, I could stay on here all day.
So what's the verdict?
I would recommend it, definitely. Really, really helpful. Yeah.
Another one. You have so many more, don't you? I'm going to put the link below. There's a lady with Lyme disease, which can go along with all of these things. But you're right that it's not like allopathic conventional medicine where you get sent to one person for one issue, and then a neurologist, and then a gastroenterologist, and an endocrinologist, where the whole body's separate and treated different. It's just getting the body to heal itself by removing the stresses that we can, adding in what our body and DNA expects, which is like good quality air, good quality food, minerals, sunlight, infrared rays, and yeah, the body can heal from pretty much anything, I believe.
Absolutely, and as I said, that you're quite right. That's why the full body approach is just so helpful, because literally the whole body needs the help, of course.
It does. And am I right that your products are available worldwide?
Yeah, we send them, absolutely. We ship to our clients all over the world, so that's quite common. And I'll share this final case study for you that I hope is inspiring.
Hi, we have Lisa here at Get Fit with us, who tried recently our far infrared professional Soma mat. Lisa, please, be really grateful if you can just share your experience with us.
Well, it was amazing because I have fatigue and fibromyalgia and a pile of other weird and wacky things, and I have very little energy to do anything physical. I was able to go back to work, did a massive clear and organise, and then in the evening, rather than be absolutely killed like I normally would be, I was fine. I was absolutely great. It was a really amazing for 2 days to actually be back to feeling normal. So now I need to see it more so I can feel normal more.
So were you a little tired before you started, before you did the treatment?
Terrible state before. I was feeling both emotionally unbelievably overwhelmed and physically. I just didn't even have the energy to work out how to do what I was going to have to do. Just plan it in my head, let alone actually do anything and be up on my feet for a couple of hours doing it.
So how did the before and after compare then? Okay.
It was lovely to have all that energy and my brain function as well, so I could work things out. It was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much for sharing your far infrared experience.
And the Soma mat is the one that I had, if anyone is interested. Yeah. And I credit that, like I said, to like so much of my healing that I've experienced. And if anyone is interested in checking out your products and your support, where can they find you online?
So our website is www.get-fit.com.
I can link that under the video today so people can check you out. I'm sure they're going to want to after listening to this chat. And yeah, thank you, Mark, for chatting with me and educating us on the health benefits of infrared sauna. And I am obsessed with mine, and I will keep using it and recommending them to everyone.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, we're always happy to help. And if anyone has any questions, and also, as I said, we do have regular ongoing webinars and, free webinars and education to help people learn more. So that's also available if anyone would like.
Amazing. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Vivian.
I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, as this helps to support the show and it allows it to reach more people with this valuable information. Come and say hi over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health. And if you haven't already, check out my website, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk, for tons more free resources and to discover how I could support you further. I currently offer one-on-one consultation packages if you want my top level support, then more affordable group programs and self-paced online courses. So there really is something for everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.